so much. It feels surreal to be here. What a beautiful audience of people. And thank you so much, Mac, for reminding me of all of the things happening out there in the world, and the fact that spring is happening, and the fact that we have work to do to help create a more beautiful world. Tonight, I'm going to talk to you about EcoSoul Hostel, and we're going to focus on the social impact, and then talk a little bit about an opportunity for social investment towards the end. Can you see that? Great. And I'm hoping my mouse will work, but we'll just have to see. Yeah, great. So I want to start by talking about our values. And we have 4 values. The first is, well, let's do all 4 of them, I guess.
I'm doing it though.
Are you? That'd be great.
From the left.
I'm just going to have to point to us to have a guess. Okay, so the first is that we live in a healthy and sustainable environment, which I'm sure many of us agree. The second is that we believe in a world where people feel connected to each other, where there's a real palpable sense of well-being between people, and where people are inspired to create positive social change. So we live in this amazing city called London. It's one of the most connected cities in the world, actually, and it's full of amazing opportunities. It has about 30 million people visiting every year. But there's a problem with London, and that problem is that many people who come and visit the city end up having quite a disconnected experience of landing here. So all of this promise, and they actually end up staying in somewhere that looks and feels something a little bit more like this. I've had this a lot when I go and visit cities like Paris or Amsterdam, and I'm kind of passing through, catching a train the next morning, and I just feel I'm kind of missing the place. And our answer to this is community. So we want to bring people together around shared values, which include sustainability, social change, well-being, and inclusion. You're doing fantastic, Esther. How do you know? Yeah, next. So our vision is a hub and hostel in London, where people who share values of social change, sustainability, and inner well-being can connect and inspire each other. I want to take you on a journey. Imagine a person coming to visit this place, so that you can really get a feeling for what we might be talking about. So this is Joe. They are 19 and visiting London for the first time. And they're looking online to see where to stay. And they see bleak hostels like this. But then they come across EcoSoul Hostel, and something about its values and sense of community chimes with them. So they decide to stay there. They, each evening at the hostel, we're going to have a beautiful communal meal, just like you've had here tonight. So they join in with that and get talking to a few people next to them. And then there's a talk after dinner, just like you're having tonight. And this one's put on by Brixton Pound in my example, which is an amazing alternative currency in South London. So they go and join that. They stay in a beautiful but simple room. And each morning in the hostel, we're going to have well-being activities like yoga and meditation. And Joe hasn't tried these before, but decides to give it a go. They then go out for the day and come back, enjoy a bit of time in the communal garden, and then go visit a local vegan cafe called Cafe Van Gogh, which Steve may be here tonight. He's the owner. It's a completely amazing place, so I just wanted to put that. But it's a completely different experience to what might happen in a normal hostel. And what we really want to do is make travel work for people in a way that's inspiring, so that people don't have that disconnected experience. Next slide. We want to create somewhere that's really affordably priced, so that many different people can appreciate it. So dormitories from around £25. But then we also want to open this up to people of all different ages. So it's not just for young people. We want it to be good for couples, older peoples, families, people who are working. So a range of accommodation to really break down these barriers and these silos that we can get into in our society. There's precedent for this. This is Eco Mama Hostel in Amsterdam. and they started one of the first eco-hostels in a European capital. It's a really beautiful place. And they started it, and they never actually advertised it very well. But it was full up with 90% occupancy from the first week, instead of 70%, which is the normal rate for Amsterdam. And this just speaks to the idea that I really feel that people are crying out for something that reflects their values and really want to touch with that. So Annika's one of our advisors, actually, and I went and shadowed her and her team for a week earlier in the year. So that's precedent in Amsterdam. But there's also precedent for this in London. Marcos, who is our chair of trustees, used to be the director of the Jamyang Buddhist Centre in Kennington. And they're a small centre, but they have about 9 small rooms. And they hardly advertise them. It's really hard to find them on their website. And that's because they're basically always full. There is this huge demand for it. So really strong precedent for what we're trying to do here. Next. But we're going to be quite different to what Annika's trying to do in Amsterdam. She's running her thing as a commercial enterprise. And we're going to be 100% not-for-profit. So we're planning to reinvest or donate all our surplus to support grassroots groups and broaden access to the space that we're trying to create. We have a fantastic business plan, which is advised by some really wonderful people. We're with our lawyers, Bates, Wells and Braithwaite, which is brilliant, recognised as being one of the best in the country for social enterprise. We've got an amazing workers' co-op alternative accountancy working with us, who specialise in social enterprise. We've got Dave Boyle from the Community Shares Company advising us. He's done startups like this before. And we've got Marshall Street advising us on the social investment side. And Paul is here tonight from them. And it's a Tuesday night, so I do not want to talk you through the business plan at great length now, although I would love to any other day of the week, so please come and talk to me. But I want to give you the headline figures so that you can understand the order of magnitude of what we're talking about. So the headline figures are a £650,000 annual turnover, £170,000 earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and an 8.5-year paydown period. And I'll come back to that later on, but just to give you a flavour of the size of thing that we're trying to do and the fact that we're doing this really professionally. But what I'm really here to share with you tonight is about the reason for doing EcoSoul Hostel. And that, for me, is the social impact that creating amazing spaces like this can have. So the first theme in terms of social impact is sustainability, which is clearly really important for an eco-hostel. And we want to do sustainability really authentically. We're inspired by our partners, who include the Ethical Consumer magazine and the Global Eco-Village Network, of whom there are a few people here tonight. And what we're looking to do is to create a 24-hour lived experience of sustainable living for our guests. So you could read a book about sustainability, you could go to a talk about sustainability, well, you could learn about sustainability, but what's better than that is to actually live it for 24 hours. And we want to create a model of that in our hostel. So what does that mean exactly? It means a lot of different things. I'm not going to talk you through them all, but low plastic, ethical procurement, seasonal organic food, encouraging low carbon travel, procuring from real wage suppliers. This is a really nice thing I saw in one of the Quaker houses in London a couple of weeks ago. And they've started using these sponges which are made from vegetable husks. But they're not just using them, they're actually telling people about what they're doing. So they've got this really nice label that explains that. I think you do the graphic design a little bit better, but they're onto something there. So we don't just want to live it, we want to explain to people how we're doing that and what we're doing. We're working with an organisation called Economy for the Common Good, who are a really good alternative to the B Corp system, and they're really good at evaluating the ethical success of businesses from a 360-degree perspective. And we're expecting to save 150 tonnes of carbon dioxide every year compared to a typical hostel. Esteban will like this one. This is something that Esteban created, and it really sums up the philosophy of what we're trying to do. It says, how we spend our money shapes the world. And I think it's a really important idea. When we spend £1 on organic vegetables, we are saying, I believe that organic farms should exist. And when we spend £1 on procuring from real living wage suppliers, we are saying with our money that I believe people should be paid properly. And that's the ethos behind the organisation we're trying to create. And we want to demonstrate that to people and show them that it's possible to have a great lifestyle that doesn't cost the earth. So EcoSol Hostel is also a place for gathering people. And we're going to have talks and events on sustainability and social change each evening after dinner. You may recognise this picture because it's of the same room. There was a brilliant event here a couple of weeks ago by the Advaya initiative, facilitated by Flo, who's one of our other trustees. She's not here tonight because she's just had a baby, but she normally coordinates the Network for Social Change and is just incredibly bright and a brilliant trustee. And Alex from Action Happiness, you were talking here, so that's great. So we want to gather people around amazing talks on sustainability and social change. We want to have space for music and art, space for film nights, peer-led workshops and sharing spaces. And then each morning offer people yoga and well-being activities. And that's going to total around 500 gatherings and workshops each year. So I said we're looking to be 100% not-for-profit. We are going to be 100% not-for-profit. And that's going to mean about £30,000 each year reinvested as microgrants. So microgrants are small grants, less than £1,000. We're going to be able to offer these most weeks, use them to broaden access to the hostel and support non-profits and grassroots projects. So to flesh that out a little bit, this is the Advocacy Academy. They're an amazing group that Imran actually introduced me to just the other week, based in Brixton in South London. And they're the UK's first campus for young activists. They emailed me this week saying, are you open yet? We have 20 young people coming down from Nottingham and we badly need a place for them to gather. And this is exactly what we want to do with our microgrants, to support small non-profits like this and really broaden access to the place that we're hoping to create. But beyond the Advocacy Academy, there's so much more we can do with microgrants. Alex, who works for Action for Happiness, you have speakers coming down every month. And we would love to say, come and stay in our hostel, come stay for free. Maybe we can even help pay for your expenses. But give a talk after dinner to the people who are staying so they can benefit from your visit too. And the final one is the UK Youth Climate Coalition. They're one of our partners. And they have youth climate activists from around the country, badly needing somewhere to gather in London. And we would love to support them. So, to get a feel of the size of this place, it's got to be at least 50 beds, just for commercial viability. But it can't be more than 80 beds, because I really want to have this feeling that we're a community and for people to know each other on first name terms. So humanly, we don't want to let it get too big. But what's really exciting about this number is if you multiply 50 by the days in a year and the average occupancy for London and the average number of nights that people stay, it's over 10,000 visitors per year. So all of those benefits we were talking about in terms of gatherings and sustainability are going to be repeated for a large number of people. And for them to just be able to, they may not have a deep experience of that, but for them to be able to taste that is an incredible thing to offer. But it's not just the visitors who are going to benefit from this, it will also be the local community. There'll be a community centre with gatherings and events, a cafe on site, and there'll be about 12,000 visitors from the local community benefiting each year. I would love to have this in Brixton where I live. It would just be the most wonderful place to have events like this each evening that I could go and join in. We're going to offer our space, which will be similar to this, to the local community during the daytime. So there'll be about 1,000 hours of local and not-for-profit groups using it each year. A smaller number, but this is really the heart of what makes this different. So we're going to have a residential community living at the hostel. And we'll be offering 6 fellowships for people to live at the hub while volunteering part-time at any one time. We're going to have 2 cohorts per year, and they'll have separate accommodation on the top floor and a really rich experience of community living. We're going to offer the people who come to be fellows mentorship and training as community facilitators. So can we send them to a retreat centre or an eco-village to bond as a community before they land? Can we mentor them? Can we encourage them to develop as facilitators? And This is a really exciting opportunity. I know that the Jamyang Buddhist Centre always have a long waiting list of people wanting to be their resident community people. You have to apply about a year in advance, I believe. And we haven't advertised this opportunity at all. Our website is not optimized, and it says that we clearly do not have a venue yet. But I'm getting people every other week emailing me saying, I'm a musician, I'm an artist, I want to come to London and have a place where I can land and really plug into networks. So we're going to have amazing people facilitating this. But the way they're going to do it is facilitating it with love. So this isn't a hostel run by people paid minimum wage. It's a hostel run from the heart. And that's what makes it an incredible place to stay and is really going to give it that sense of community. It's not just us who can see the value of what we're trying to do. We have 24 not-for-profit partners, and they can see the value of a home from home in London for their members who live around the country who want to come and visit London. And they can see the value of cross-pollinating 10,000 people and supporting organisations and movements to grow. We have a really wonderful team running this. We're a professional team, scoping the project pro bono or for peppercorn rates. So my background is a structural engineer, and I've worked on schools, sustainable schools in the Himalayas through to big projects here in London. And that's really taught me how to organise very well. But what I think is more important is to share with you, there's two sides to this, organising it well and understanding how community works. So me and my partner Hannah, who's at the back there, founded this wonderful group, which is a mindfulness group for families 3 or 4 years ago, and entirely run by volunteers, and we have about 40 people coming to our gatherings each month. And I also run workshops on living in communities harmoniously. I've founded a couple of intentional communities in London, both of which are still thriving to this day. So what I'm trying to share, and to give you confidence in, is that we understand both sides of the coin, both how to organise this really well, but also how to get the community right. The 3 people here in the middle are Ira, Marcos and Flo, who are brilliant trustees. Ira founded redecentralize.org, which is democratizing the internet and creating more space for open source online. Marcos, previously a lawyer and accountant, directed the Jamyang Buddhist Centre, so has direct experience of doing this in London. And Flo, who's not here tonight because she's just had a baby, which is wonderful, coordinates the network of wellbeing. We have Kasha, who's our network developer, and Damien, who is our property lead, also helping out. But beyond this, there's a huge number of people helping, and I can't go into everyone here tonight. I really want to thank Paul in particular and his colleague David from Marshall Street for helping us so much with the financing of this. Yeah. So where are we at the moment? We're currently looking for a property, and we have Damien. Where's Damien? Just want to wave. He's our property lead. He spent 16 years in the property industry, but now actually directs the Art Community Centre in Islington. So has a really great understanding of both the property side of things, but also the community side of things. This is a case study in Brixton, and I'd like to thank Michael and Tom, who's here tonight, for doing the architecture for this. And it's all up on the wall, so you can go and talk to him about it. And we costed this down to the nearest square foot. My cousin, who works for JP Morgan as a business analyst, did 12-year projections for this, and he calls me up halfway through and says, "No, this is incredible. Like, this is incredibly profitable." And I was like, "We don't want to make profit. We're going to give it away." And he was like, "I know, but it's really profitable." So that's one case study, and Tom can talk through it more later. We've got several properties that we're looking into quite seriously at the moment. This is a property in Southwark. It's owned by Southwark Council, and they just invited us last week to a second stage tender on it. So they're very interested in us using this kind of place. We've got a short list of 6 properties we're currently looking into, and Damien is being supported by professional property consultants on this. We're looking to finalise the property in the coming months. We haven't found quite the right property yet, but when we do, we're going to move quite quickly on it, and hoping to open the hostel late 2019 or early 2020. We're looking for a 10 to 15 year lease on property, and the property, we're not looking to own it ourselves, so it could be from a commercial landlord, or it could be from a sympathetic owner. And so EcoSol is separate and doesn't own property. We're essentially an operator and a social enterprise. So we have an amazing social investment opportunity. We're looking to raise £650,000 in total, most of which would refurbish the property and a little bit would go on startup costs. We're looking for a small number of experienced social investors looking to invest a minimum of £50,000. Given the amazing social impact, it actually offers a really generous financial return, equivalent to 9.8%. So that's 5% in interest plus social investment tax relief. And we're looking to offer 10-year bonds on this. We've had very serious interest from ethics, who quite like to be able to provide match funding of up to £325,000. Yeah, so it's a really amazing offer for the right person. We've just opened our shortlist for interested investors, and the idea of being on the shortlist is that when we find the right property, you will get first refusal. So we're looking to find the right property in a couple of months, but we're looking to reach out to potential investors now. So if you'd like to talk to someone about this, please talk to Ira or Paul. Do you want to give us a wave?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you. So please talk to Ira or Paul at the end. In terms of the property again, we're looking at options both to rent and to buy. And we actually have interest from an organisation who would be very interested in buying half of a suitable building, which they would co-own and then rent back to us. So if anyone's in that kind of field who knows people who might potentially be interested in co-owning a property, then please speak to us too. But back to the broader vision. I'm hoping that this will be the first of many. So following the success of the first hostel, we're hoping to create one in other European cities, Bristol, Edinburgh, Paris, Manchester and Brussels. Esteban? And yeah, so to wrap up, I hope that you've heard that we have a really great potential for social impact, to inspire sustainability, to grow values-based community, to use profits to broaden access to London and broaden access to movements, to support movements, and to welcome over 10,000 visitors per year. We have a really strong financial plan that offers 5% interest and social investment tax relief. We have a great team and a vision for the future. So I'd like to ask for your help. And there are 3 things that you could do for us. They're not too big, don't worry. The first is, please share with us your feedback and ideas. I know there is a lot of wisdom in this room, so please do tell us if you have ideas. You'll see all the people wearing name badges are on the core team, so please do talk to them. The second is, please share about the project widely. There's loads of brochures at the back, so please take some of them and share them with your networks. We're particularly looking for social investments at the moment, so there are investor letters next to the brochures. Please take some of them too, and share them with people who may be interested, or with people who know people who may be interested. Yeah. And if you're interested in being a social investor, please talk to Ira or Paul afterwards and find a bit more out about that. So, I really want to thank 42 Acres for their support and this beautiful space that we've been in tonight. Tonight, the idea is that it's similar to a night at the hostel. So you've enjoyed home-cooked food. You've had an inspiring talk after dinner. You may have met some people who have similar intentions for the world and who you may like to get to know more. But I want you to imagine that there are rooms on the floors below this room, and that instead of heading home in an hour, we meet again at breakfast and get to deepen our connection. So I hope you feel like you've tasted what we're trying to create here tonight, and that you'll join us on this journey to offer heartfelt accommodation with incredible social impact to over 10,000 people a year. Thank you very much.